want to rotate my phone.
Let's see what it looks like.
Okay, there we are. Even if it's sideways, we're just going to be this way.
Yeah, just be sideways.
Anyway, hi everybody. We're going to do a taco Talk Thursday today. I'm here with Heather Dopson of GoDaddy. We got lots of tacos.
Lots of tacos.
And we're here at Torchy's Tacos. In case you've never seen Torchy's, there it is. And I brought Heather here for two reasons. Number one, she's actually a taco aficionado, like beyond it. She's actually a nationally certified taco judge. Okay.
True.
And she hasn't necessarily had the best experiences at Torchy's yet, but we're working on it. We're going to changing that. But here's the more important thing. Recently, Business Insider called Torchy's Tacos the best chain they've eaten at all year long. And I want to talk a little bit about why they've probably been so successful, and what other businesses obviously can learn from it. I think it's really cool. But let's start going through some tacos, and we'll take some questions if anybody has them.
Yeah. So my experience with Torchy's, I am a taco aficionado, and every time I come to Texas, people say you have to go to Torchy's, you have to eat at Torchy's, and my response is always, Torchy's is The food is not bad, but it's never going to be my first choice for tacos. And I really got to thinking about this yesterday because, again, somebody said, you have to go to Torchy's, and oh my gosh, you just haven't had the secret menu. Which, by the way, 3 of these tacos are from the secret menu that Bryan so nicely shared with me this morning. But I was thinking about it. You know, we tie emotions to a lot of different things, like to music or to scent.
To any experience.
Yeah, to experience, right? Like, how many times have you smelled something and it takes you back to a place, either good or bad, right? The same with a song. We listen to music and we get sad, or it puts us back into that moment. So the first time I had Torchy's, it wasn't an experience inside the restaurant. It was actually somebody had gotten it to go and had ordered a whole bunch of different things. And I equate that with the person I was with when that happened, right? It wasn't like this super positive experience. So I think maybe some of that tied into it, right? Because the food at Torchy's is not bad at all, but it also has a cult following.
It has a very cult following. I think one of the reasons it has a cult following is the secret menu thing, right? You kind of have to be an insider. And I think a lot of businesses, could develop a secret menu for their insiders that make them feel connected to the business in a way that the average person doesn't know. Now, for those of you who don't know, and I'll share the link in the comments about Torchy's, they're now about 50 locations. They started from a trailer truck just about a mile down the road from here, and have opened up a bunch of restaurants. This is one of their newer ones. The decor is a little bit different, but right now I think you're trying the taco of the month.
Yes, this is the taco of the month.
The
trailer park taco.
Hillbilly. Trailer
park hillbilly, right?
Yeah. So here's the thing about this one, and my brother made this observation about the monthly tacos, the taco of the month. Every single taco of the month always is the biggest, boldest flavors. They're always innovating something really way out there. And it's the combination of flavors. Why don't you kind of tell them what's in there?
So it has fried chicken strips in it, along with bacon and chorizo, green chili queso, additional cheese, pico de gallo, and this really fresh cilantro salsa.
Okay, so what do you think of this one?
This taco is good. It has really, like you said, it's really bold flavors. It's good. It's not a traditional taco by any means, and none of the tacos that you're going to get here are traditional tacos.
Yeah, unless you do breakfast tacos. Okay, you had your bite. You told me to keep you kind of, you got to kind of rotate.
Yeah.
Because there is a way to taste tacos, which now I'm learning from a pro. So, take advice from Heather.
So from a judging standpoint, when we are judging at festivals and all of that kind of stuff, what you're doing, we're looking for taste, texture, and presentation. Those are the 3 things that at taco festivals what they're judged on.
So here for a fast food, because we ordered less than 10 minutes ago, and if we ordered chips and queso, it would have been out right away. Which is, by the way, their queso's out of this world.
The queso, I will tell you, the Torchy's queso is amazing, and so is their salad. They have a salad that's called the Airstream salad.
Yeah, that's a new menu item.
Yeah, that salad is good.
So definitely, that's something that, is really important. They get it to you quick. So presentation point of view from fast food kind of chain, what do you think?
Yeah, so if I'm judging on a scale of 1 to 7, which is typically what we do, then I think presentation is about a 5. Like there's nothing super fancy about this, right?
Well, remember, they started a food truck. It still has that food truck kind of feel.
Absolutely. But also, like, all the toppings are on it.
Dressed nicely.
It's dressed nicely. Like, I think the presentation is pretty good.
Yeah, and it's also what I love about what they've done. They haven't deviated from their roots.
Yeah.
Right, because they could have gone more. Oh, okay. Now we're opening up, different chains and different restaurants, and this one's a little classier. Has a nice bar in here as well. But they said no. The delivery's always going to be consistent.
And that's really what people want, right? There are people who are more adventurous, and then there are people who just want that consistency. We talked about my friend and coworker Isaac. Coming here, I brought him to Cooper's Barbecue a couple of years ago, and so every time he comes to Austin, it's Cooper's Barbecue. Isaac is here with me this week also.
But he's not getting tacos.
He's not getting tacos. He's at work. Sorry, Isaac.
Someone's got to get some more tacos.
Yeah, but that's part of it, right? When you're creating a consistent experience for your customers. Something that I want to make really clear that I see with small businesses all the time, with businesses in general, but with small businesses, and had this discussion with a friend of mine just a couple of days ago. When you're building your website, or you're building your business, or you're creating your product, or whatever you're doing, stop looking at it through your own lens.
So that's a number one revenue blind spot that we see in all companies, right?
Yes.
Like if we had to go back to 20 years of optimizing businesses and websites, their number one thing is the company stopped taking the perspective of the customer.
Yes.
And it's a difficult thing. Like, like these guys in corporate, right, think tacos 24/7. Now, Heather thinks tacos 24/7 as well. Okay. But the average customer really doesn't think tacos until they're hungry. And so, when you're so involved in your business for so many hours, you know about it more, you think about it more, you're more passionate about it, and you've got to start looking at it from how are they going to experience it? Walk in the door, what are you seeing? How does it look to them? And it's interesting. This is the first time I'm in this location here in South Congress, and I'll tell you, I don't love the decor as much as I love other places. Other places are a little bit cheekier. They have the big devil kind of standing around. This one seems a little bit more generic. I mean, it's pretty. Don't get me wrong. It's got great light and open windows. And it has got a great dog-friendly patio. But to me, it doesn't have that playfulness that all the other ones do. And it's a big part of their voice. In fact, one of the things I love about Torchy's, that again, if you don't follow them, you may not know, is even when they interact on social media, it's that same consistent brand voice. Yeah. Right? And I think that's important. So which one are you trying now?
So this is one off the secret menu that was recommended to me. It's called the Ace of Spades. It has a jalapeno sausage link, which is something I would love anyway. Grilled brisket, a fried egg, green chili queso, cilantro, cheese, sour cream, and Diablo sauce on a flour tortilla. I got the Diablo sauce on the side because I know it's very, very hot. Now, I love hot stuff, but here's the thing about judging tacos.
You don't want your taste buds to be fried by the time.
Exactly. And this is a mistake that taco competitors make. Is that they put the sauce that they love, they put it on a taco, and then you can't taste anything else. And so we actually judge that, right? So from a judging standpoint, if this is not on the taco, we can't judge it. Like, you can't even, if a lime comes on the side, you can't squeeze the lime.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
The taco has to be fully assembled. But if you're putting something like this Diablo sauce on it and burning my tongue, then that's ruining me for the rest of the tacos that I have to judge. And that does impact our scoring.
So here's a question for you though. Like, from a business's perspective, right? Obviously, you need to deliver it to the way the customer wants to get it. That's the key thing. That's the golden rule, right? Yep. It's not do unto others as you want done unto yourself. Do unto others as they want done unto themselves.
Yeah.
Okay? And so, obviously, you don't want your palate burnt. So how do you satisfy them in the business to make sure, like, you do deliver it the way you want to, but also giving them that flexibility?
Right.
I mean, GoDaddy has this problem as well.
Yeah.
Right? GoDaddy, we were just talking earlier, has 60 different products. How do we do it so we don't overwhelm them, but they also get a sense of that there's a lot of added value and other flavors that you can get a sense of.
We experience this in restaurants all the time when we sit down and that you have a menu that has like 6 or 7 pages and you go, oh my gosh, I don't know what I want, or I want a little bit of everything. So that's what I do is I ordered 4 different tacos here, knowing I wasn't going to finish all of them, but I wanted to try different stuff. So from the perspective of GoDaddy and for small businesses, we're champions of like the person with the side hustle and the solopreneur, like the person who goes, gosh, I want to make salsa and sell it, and oh my gosh, do I need a website? How do I build a web? What is a domain name? What is that? That's who we're focusing on.
Yep.
And it can be really, really overwhelming to people. Like you were talking about having systems in place, right? And people focus on their thing, right? They care about the salsa that they're making.
Totally.
They don't understand the processes and the systems that need to go into place of getting a website up. Okay, why should I not use Gmail or Yahoo or AOL or MSN, like all of those different things?
It's funny because I spent a lot of time with some of the small business leaders in town, like everything from True Grind System, where my son trains, and helping those founders. I know you want this. You do.
This, by the way, is a fried corn tortilla wrapped in a flour tortilla.
And which taco is this one?
I have to look. I think this is the Matador. Yes. So this is chopped brisket, grilled jalapenos, pickled onions, jack cheese, avocado, sour cream, cilantro.
Oh, so now we know where the sour cream came from.
Yeah.
So anyway, I spend a lot of time with the owners of the gym, and the big challenge that they have is that you've got to take care of all these different systems in all these different places, right? So you got to take care of your Google listing, and you got to take care of Instagram, you're taking care of Facebook, and you're on Twitter, and the internal systems for their booking and the bookkeeping. And when you have so many different systems, you don't realize it, but every little switch to another place is a challenge.
Yes.
So both mentally, it's a friction point. That's a what I call like a systems, a system challenge, right?
Yeah. Right.
Which is one of the 4 categories of blind spots that we find. It's like if you don't have an easy way to integrate from system to system and make it seamless for yourself, right? Internally, you've got that conflict. That how do you manage everything, and how do you get your employees to manage everything? And so, it's definitely a challenge.
Right, and that's when people get overwhelmed. Right, is when they're.
Nathan, we tried to turn it sideways, but it just didn't really get both of us in there. We're just not thin enough to kind of do that.
I mean, we like each other, and this is as close as we can get.
Yeah.
Facebook Live, the camera angles aren't always perfect, and so if we're sideways, I'm sorry.
You got watch it on a tablet or on a phone and just turn it yourself. It'll work.
But that's where I want to really help people is they get into the state of overwhelm. So they're really passionate about whatever their thing is. And my mantra in life is I want to help you lose your JOB and find your JOY.
Yep.
That is my mission in this life, is to help people do that. And for some people, that's becoming an entrepreneur or starting a business because they have something that they love. For other people, that's leveling up in their career, finding the right role for them, or being entrepreneurial inside their role. But for somebody who says, this is the thing that I love, and this is the thing that I want to do, and how I want to contribute to the world, they're so passionate about that. But then they get bogged down in all of this stuff, right? When I start talking to them and saying, okay, you've got a domain. I'm sorry to tell you, but your website is terrible.
Yep.
And also, you shouldn't be using Gmail as your email address. And what are you using for your email marketing automation? And they're like, what is that? What do you use for email? And they're like, Outlook. I'm like, no, can't do that.
Yep.
There are rules and laws around sending email.
Number one secret of business today. Number one, the money is in the data of your email list.
Oh my God!
Not just collecting email, but understanding who each of those customers are. And once you do that, you can start delivering to them more. And so it's actually one of the things that's also interesting about Torchy's is watching how they grow and where all these locations are. They've been going always north, and they're expanding to a couple of other states as well. But they're also not going to the busiest spots. They're not looking for them. Like a lot of restaurants try to find like the busiest street corner. They're not always doing that. They know something about their customers that's a little bit different, and I think that's really valid. By the way, if I were to give them one downfall, is that they don't have an email list or a loyalty program tied to that. Because if I were someone like Torchy's and some of the local ones, not that they need it, but a business like this, right? And again, like everybody's got their own thing. I would love to create like an exclusive night or an exclusive afternoon when the hours are dead quiet, and you can invite a limited number of people. Say, hey, we're gonna have 50 seats, and we're gonna serve this cool new taco before we release it. Think about how that would drive people. So Torchy's, if you're listening.
Yeah, or that's the same thing. Like,
not that they're ever quiet.
I know. Torchy's is always busy. But also, like, that exclusivity breeds loyalty. Like, you're making people feel special. And you should be treating them special too. Well, you can have a night like that where you're testing out, like, get a sneak preview of, we're gonna do like these 4 tacos, and you, our Torchy super fans, get to choose what is gonna be next month's taco.
Yep, and imagine, not only that, while you're there, you've got all these customers there, and I know GoDaddy has like a customer board as well, right? Yep. You get to actually talk with customers. I know it's a shock to people, right? But you get to actually know them and get a sense of who they are and what they're thinking and their feedback, and that's really where businesses really kind of take it to the next level.
That goes back to what we were saying about looking at things through your customer's lens. What I find with a lot of small business owners is they get emotionally tied with whatever their product or service is, and they don't want to hear the feedback. They don't want people to talk about their baby, and they get really defensive of it. So the biggest tip that I give people right from the beginning is get your ego out of it. Like, take your ego out of it. And if you're really actually having conversations with your customers, or you're looking at how they're consuming things, then you should be iterating and adapting to what your customers need or want.
Well, what's interesting, I think you said this perfectly. Our job is to serve customers.
Yes.
And when we come from that point of service, and thank you for your service, right? And if someone comes from a military background, I think, again, they really understand the concept of serving, right? And I think this is an important aspect that a lot of business owners don't get, that our number one job is to find how to fulfill our customers' needs, not what we want to do. And so, right now, Torchy's is innovating that monthly menu. Maybe they have a small group. I don't know if they do or not. But could you imagine, they could expand in each one of the restaurants, pick an hour a week where they know it's quiet, invite them, show different things. Now they're innovating, which every business should be doing all the time anyway, right?
Yeah.
It's such an important thing today. Building social media buzz for the new tacos, like, oh my God, I just tried the Trailer Park Hillbilly, and wait till you try it coming out. They can do all of these things, and now they have a chance to operationalize it and really find a way to get that customer input.
This is going to be so messy.
You can take it on. But before taking it back, so let's see this one, and then we got to figure out which of the 4 she actually likes best. So.
Yeah, and that's there's all these small little details that you can just have in conversations with your customers. And if you don't have a physical location, you can still do that.
Oh, absolutely.
This is what I ask people all the time if they have an online product. So how many orders did you get this week? Okay, I got 10 orders this week. All right. So have you had conversations with those people? Did you have a follow-up email or maybe a phone call? How about if you had a phone call? You actually picked up the phone and you called your customer and said, hey, I would love to know what was the experience like for you? Not just the product, but what was the experience?
So that's exactly it. We're just working with a client of ours who sells very interesting nutraceutical product. I mean, like, it's a beauty product that's a nutraceutical that works from the inside out. It's really a fabulous product. And as part of the project, a member from our team called tons of customers. And while this has always been an online company, they were so like excited to hear that the company actually wanted to hear from them. And we learned so much that we took that and we helped them create their personas. And now we're using that to plan new content because the way they perceive the product is so totally different than the way the company thought they were just selling it. And so whole new level of insights just because we took the time and called a few people.
Yeah. Or if you happen to get to travel, if you go, whether it's for business or pleasure or whatever, take a look at your orders or your contacts and see.
And try tacos in every city you go to.
Yeah, tacos in every city.
Yeah.
Let's make that happen. Like I feel like this needs to be a road show.
Yeah, I think we need to do that.
Road show. But you know, whenever I'm fortunate that I get to go to a lot of places, both with GoDaddy and with my own personal business, and I want to talk to people. I want to like actually interact with them. I have this cool title, community builder, which to me means that I get to meet people and build relationships. That's what I do. So I'm always making the recommendation, if you're going somewhere, find out 4 or 5 of your customers who are there and invite them to dinner, or invite them to breakfast, or invite them to coffee, or just hang out with them and make them feel like they are special. Because if they're paying you money for a product or service, they are special.
Yeah, look, this business is both easy but really hard.
Yeah. Yeah.
We all talk about, and everybody talks about the same principles. They talk about all the different things we need to do, but it's actually doing them that's the big challenge. And I think the number one thing, if I were to suggest every business, is just to get into the habit of doing things daily.
Yeah, execute.
Execution.
Yeah.
It's really what separates the best from the best. So is this the winning taco?
I think this is the winning taco. Of the 4 that I have here,
This is your favorite.
yeah. So this is the green chili pork missionary style.
Okay.
This is off the secret menu, by the way. Green chili pork, pickled onions, guacamole, jack cheese, cilantro, creamy chipotle, served on a crisp corn tortilla inside of a flour tortilla. Now, I have an affinity for green chili anyway. I think they're all good. There's not a bad taco here.
You have a better impression of Torchy's now?
You have a better impression.
Okay, well that's good.
My aunt will be really excited, so when I go visit Dallas, she'll be like, we can go to Torchy's now. Yeah, but it's fascinating to me how there is such this loyalty, and I'm always interested in how are companies and brands building that loyalty, right? We were mentioning earlier about the loyalty to Torchy's is similar to loyalty to In-N-Out Burger, right?
Yep.
And if you love In-N-Out Burger and somebody says something bad about In-N-Out Burger, you're like, you're crazy.
You get defensive.
And a friend of mine who's from West Virginia, and I live in Arizona. My friend lives in Arizona now too, and he wrote a post about, and he called Whataburger trash.
Uh-oh.
And listen, those are fighting.
Hey, hold on a second. If all you care about is impressions, go tackle somebody like that, and all of a sudden you get everybody who loves Whataburger to come go for you.
True. So
anyway.
True. But I was like, you know, like our friendship is officially terminated. Like you can't talk trash about Whataburger. And then he's like, it's great, it's
awesome.
fantastic. Thank you so much.
By the way, very cool, right? They have a manager walking around asking just how everything's tasting. While we were sitting here, we had someone come bust some of the tacos that were done.
Yeah, pre-bussing is so important. Yeah.
Little touches. It's all these little touches that make such a difference.
And those are the things that you don't, like when you are shopping online or you're experiencing your life as a customer, because you're a customer and you're a consumer, like pay attention to the things that make you feel a little special, or the things that go, I don't like that, and how you can adjust that in your own order process or your own marketing or whatever it is.
So there's an old Bain study from a couple of years ago that talks about how 96% of executives believe they're customer centric. 80% of them believe that they're exceptionally customer centric, but when they ask their customers, only 8% of them do. And it's not that executives are stupid, it's not that they're dumb, they're not being foolish, it's that their perspective is just off, right? And to be customer centric requires so much work. And I'll tell you, it's interesting because I'm watching what they're doing in this location versus others. One of the locations we used to go to, every single time we ordered out, there'd always be something a little bit off. Like the one time we ordered a little cheese quesadilla for one of my kids, and they put in jalapeno peppers inside of it, and my 5-year-old at the time was not a fan. His mouth was on fire. But we called up and they apologized and they always take care of it, and they're always doing things. So things are going to go wrong. But they're always working on and trying to improve the system, because to scale to 50 stores, you need to make sure you've got those operations working properly and taking the feedback from customers to stay customer-centric. That's the big challenge.
Yeah, it's that getting that ego out of the way.
And also being willing to admit when you've made mistakes and when you do something wrong, and going above and beyond to take care of it.
Yes. Yeah, because mistakes are going to happen. It's unavoidable, especially if you don't have systems and processes in place. But mistakes are going to happen. But it's how you handle those mistakes. If you handle them with elegance and grace, and you treat that customer, if you truly empathize with them, that makes all the difference in the world. I have, all of us have experienced as a consumer the range of like, did you really just say that to me? Like I ordered something without tomatoes or whatever, and then they're like, just take the tomatoes off. Like, what? But that's not what I ordered, right? But how you handle that mistake, if you handle it with grace, and treat everybody with grace. My big message for 2018, which I'm continuing to carry into 2019, is let's all be human. Let's be human first. When you're creating your marketing, you're creating your products, you're creating for humans. For the most part, you're creating stuff for human beings, right? Even if it's a product for a dog, it's not the dog that's making the purchase.
And if they are, we should be worried.
Yeah.
Actually, a funny story. Back when I was in college, my buddy was a manager of a Radio Shack, and my other buddy ended up applying for a credit card under my dog's name and got one.
What?
So anyway, most dogs don't have credit cards, so we shouldn't be thinking about them. But at the time, Duque had one, so
that's hilarious.
Yeah, but only for Radio Shack, obviously.
Yeah. Oh, Radio Shack.
Maybe that's why they're out of business.
I needed Radio Shack. Just the other day, I was shopping for something, and I was like, if there were a Radio Shack, I know I could go right now
and get
exactly what I need. Yeah. Radio Shack, I miss you.
Yeah. But one of the things you mentioned earlier, and talking about customer expectations, and I think you said we're all consumers, and I think this is what the critical thing is from everybody today, is to understand how customers are approaching their expectations today. Every customer is expecting the kind of communications they may get from like a Zappos, right? Where it's really transparent, super friendly. They're not rushing you off the phone. They really care about you. They want the seamlessness of like an Uber or a Lyft, right? They can walk in, they can walk out. They don't have to think about anything. It's just there. And they want the speed and efficiency of an Amazon.
Yes.
No matter what business you're in, this is customers' expectations. And so this is one of the things, again, like coming back to the Torchy's thing, they work really hard at making sure, if you're ordering chips and queso or guacamole, it's out like in minutes.
Yeah.
Because we're busy culture and we want things immediately. So the tacos took a few minutes because, we're at lunchtime, kind of busy here, but get something to people immediately. I was on Instagram before. I saw an ad. Of course, I posted this morning about how my son played basketball last night, and he sprained his ankle on Thursday. Okay. So I got a targeted ad for socks to help with sprained ankles.
Compression socks.
Yeah, these compression socks.
Yeah.
So I go ahead and I click through, and I said, okay, of course I take my screenshots, and I get all the way to the end, and it said delivery in 3 to 4 weeks. Bye-bye. Just gone.
You're not solving an immediate problem. Yeah.
So
you're not immediately solving a problem.
Yeah, and so if you're going to serve me the ad, if you can't deliver it right away, get rid of the ad, right? Or get rid of that product. Don't put me in a hole where I'm going to not feel immediately gratified, because I expect things right away, and everyone else does today. So that's the challenge that businesses have to, large or small.
It's true, and that can be really challenging because, especially on social media, if you have social media accounts set up for your brand, which you probably should, there is an expectation that if I tweet to you, I want a response. Now, because I work in marketing and social media, I understand that you're not always going to get an immediate response.
Yep.
But I'm constantly doing little tests with bigger brands. When I travel almost
Every hotel I tweet at before I get there to see what kind of response, because it's going to tell me a lot about my experience there.
That's right. That's true. One of the things
The airlines.
Yeah, I always tweet the airlines. Southwest. I fly.
Southwest is
I fly
always
Southwest
on it.
more than anything else. Southwest is top notch, and so is JetBlue.
Yep, agreed.
JetBlue is amazing.
That's why I'm flying Saturday. So
Oh,
yeah,
perfect.
yeah.
But one of the things that I do, I'm not sure if you've seen some of my posts about this, but when I book my hotel reservations, I always put in a special request. Always. And I do it just as a way to see if they're paying attention.
So here's a little keynote speaker kind of insight.
Yeah.
So one of my friends was a touring musician for 20 years. And he explained to me, the famous like green M&Ms inside contracts.
Yes.
He said it has nothing to do about green M&Ms. I mean, sometimes it does, right? Sometimes they're really that crazy. But he said it gives the artist or the speaker knowledge that if you didn't get that right, what else might be wrong in the background.
It's so true.
So like I started putting in like, I have to have like 2 bottles of water on the stage when
Do you
I'm
ask
speaking.
for a specific kind of water?
No, I'm not
Just
that
water. Okay.
crazy. But if I don't see the 2 bottles, I know that they didn't really pay attention to the contract.
Right. And that's what I do. And I do it really, it started out as being kind of a funny thing that I was testing to see if they're, and I book almost exclusively at Starwood, now Marriott. And it's so much so that this request just stays in the special request form field in the reservation form. I always request a picture of either Nicolas Cage or Mr. T in the room to keep me company. That's what I say. Picture of Nick Cage in the room to keep me company.
Now, what does it say that she picks those 2? But we can talk about that offline.
That's a different episode. And so I'm at about a 40% success rate. Now, I understand that they can't always make this happen because they don't
have a way to operationalize it.
Right, they don't have a way to operationalize it, and they can't like hold my room. My room may not be assigned to me until I get there, and they can't always do that, right?
But they could bring it later.
Yes, and I've had that happen as well, where I've had both instances where I walk in and my favorite was at the Heathman Lodge in it's right outside of Portland, Oregon. I'll think of the name, but Heathman Lodge. And I walk in, and there's a sign on the wall that says "Look up." And when I look up, there was a picture of Mr. T taped to the ceiling above the bed.
That is awesome.
I mean, that's amazing. So then what did I do? I did a whole Instagram story about it and talked about it. And that was 2 years ago. So 2 years later, I'm still
You're still talking about it. And again, it's the little details that drive people over. Talking about reviews and sharing.
Yeah.
The same goes true about responding to reviews on Amazon. So two funny stories.
Anywhere.
Anywhere. Oh yeah. But I had a friend of mine. I was up at the baseball convention this weekend, and a guy attacked his book on Amazon that was like a kindergartner couldn't write it, and blah blah blah. Meanwhile, he's been an Amazon bestseller for a while. The book's pretty good and all that. Anyway, he goes on to kind of say, well, and he tries to defend himself and all this. And what ended up happening is a lot of people really looked down at the author for the tact he took. On the other side, I've seen people leave negative reviews for stuff and they get unanswered. Right? I was just looking at one of the companies there that sells these special batting gloves that have protection on them, and there's a few people left reviews that they broke after a couple games, whatever. Which my son's been using them for a full season, and I've never had a pair of better gloves. Yeah. But they never responded to it,
Yeah.
right? And so you can't leave that conversation, because that's it. It's a human conversation. Like, you wouldn't go, hey, Heather, and then just like just ignore the person. That's what we're doing.
That's the head in the sand, right? Of like, this person's crazy or that person's a jerk or whatever because my product failed them. Or they used the product incorrectly or whatever. This is Jay Bear's topic, hug your haters, right?
Yep.
Like turning that into your greatest opportunity to improve your service or your product is listening to those people.
And sometimes you turn them into your best fanatics because you've done that for them.
Right. Now listen, there are crazy people out there. And there are trolls.
And you don't need to please everybody.
That's true. That's very true.
But you need to at least make the effort and show it, because if people think that you're ignoring and you're not answering the questions and you're not answering the feedback, they're basically going to look at it and say, yeah, I'm going to deal with somebody who actually is.
Right. Yeah, I think you should respond to everything. If people.
So here's the question. I think we need to, and I know you took pictures of all this. I'd love to do an experiment. We should tweet at Torchy's.
Yeah.
And tell them you tried. You're a taco judge. You tried 4 of them, and this is your favorite. And let's see what happens. I'm really curious.
Yeah.
See what happens. We may not be able to get it while we're still on camera because we're going to probably wrap up soon.
Yeah.
But definitely I'll follow up in the comments to see what they do.
I'm going to tweet them when we're done. I'll tweet them and we'll see what happens. So I think that if somebody has taken the time to write you a positive review
or negative,
if they've taken the time, you got to look at it from an emotional standpoint, right? And from a marketing perspective, it's less about technology and more about psychology and sociology, right? So if we're looking at the emotional state that a person is in when they're writing a review, it's either they're writing a review because you did something that made them really happy, or you did something that made them unhappy. You're rarely going to get just a review that's like, yeah, it was okay. It's just not going to happen.
But at the end of the day, they're giving you an insight into the customer's world.
Right.
Like, appreciate it. It's like, there's this principle that we teach that I learned in college called the Johari window, right? And it's a model of self-disclosure. There's an area that's known to you and an area that's known to the customer. Now, the area that you both know is we both know that this restaurant is on South Congress. That's the open area. There's an area that we know about Torchy's that they don't know. They don't know that they brought this out with sour cream on the bottom yet.
Yeah, and they got sour cream all over our table.
Okay, and nothing terrible, but again, right, this is just something that they don't know unless we tell them. But if we went through the effort of telling them, they'd probably in the kitchen want to know, hey, let's make sure to check the bottom and then improve it.
Right.
There's an area that you know that your customer doesn't know. By the way, this is the greatest area of opportunity for social media and content. That's called the hidden area.
Hidden area.
Okay, that's the area that people want to know. Like, why are you that much better? Like, why is Torchy's a good taco solution when you're when you're around? And then of course there's an area that's what we call the unknown, right? Both sides don't know what the future is. There's a bunch of things. But the hidden and the blind are huge opportunities. So anytime anybody's giving you positive or negative feedback, it lets you close that window on the blind and not be so blind to it.
Yeah.
Right? We don't want blind spots. Blind spots hurt our growth. Period.
Yeah, absolutely. The thing about people taking the time to write that, like, who are you? Who are you to be so self-important that you can't take the time to write back to them and say, oh my gosh, thank you for sharing your experience. Or, oh my gosh, this is not the experience that we wanted for you. Please email me at, or whatever it is, right? Like, you have to take the time to respond to those. And this is the biggest thing. When I tell that to people, small business owners, they go, I don't have time for that. You better make time. You
don't have to be in business for very long either. I mean,
that's right.
You'll have plenty of time if that happens.
So I'm a huge advocate of social media for your business. I don't think you have to do all the things all the time, but just know that your brand is being talked about
with or without you.
With or without you, on all the things, on all the places. So I tell people, I know that social media can be overwhelming for you as a small business. I say it's like brushing your teeth. Set aside time twice a day. Maybe it's 30 minutes in the morning and 30 minutes in the evening. Respond.
Or 10 or whatever it is.
Whatever. Just do something. Just do something and make a consistent habit of it. You should be creating a consistent experience for your customer. You should be creating the system and the process for you as the business owner as well to be consistent.
At the most fundamental level, the goal of every business is to create a relationship. And I'm hoping today I changed your relationship with Torchy's. We have a little bit more positive experience.
The company is definitely better.
Okay.
Bryan, being here with Bryan is definitely better.
And so, if everything you do, if you focus in on what am I doing today to create a better relationship with my customers, your business is going to grow.
I love that. I'm going to incorporate that into my next presentation. Because what I typically say is, if you're not putting people first, you're doing something wrong.
The problem with a statement like that is only one thing, right? We don't know what that means. And so the number one thing is, in every good relationship, you tend to try to listen more than you speak. So that's the first thing. So if they're talking to you, please listen to them. Like, actively listen to them. Like, really do your job at paying attention to them. It's a very hard habit to do.
It is a hard habit, because what we're doing is we're listening with the intent to respond. And if somebody, think about this from my perspective of working for GoDaddy, which is a pretty ubiquitous brand. People love.
And they do more than domains.
Yes, far more than domains. People love GoDaddy, or people hate GoDaddy.
Yep.
They've had a negative experience, or there's something about the brand, right? So as I'm out talking to people, from the stage, I tell people, if you're a happy GoDaddy customer, I want to talk to you because I want to learn more about your business and what you've done. If you're an unhappy customer, I definitely want to talk to you. So I invite that, right? And so the first thing when somebody comes up to me and says, whatever, X, like something negative, right? They start with a negative word, or I hate GoDaddy. My brain has to stop, because...
Can't get defensive.
Yeah, I can't get defensive. And I have a story. Listen, you guys, I used to really, really hate GoDaddy. Really hate GoDaddy for a variety of reasons. And now I am an outspoken brand advocate that goes out there and puts my face, my reputation, my own brand on the line to support this brand.
They were a fast growth company. They made a bunch of mistakes, like every business will. But they've operationalized things. They put in the right humans. They put in some great executives, and they've changed.
Yeah. And that's part of my mission, right? But I can't come out, if somebody comes up to me and says, I really hate GoDaddy, I can't come out and say, well, let me tell you all the ways GoDaddy's changed, or let me tell you why you're wrong, or let me tell, because that person is going to shut down immediately. And I want to extract the whole story from them. And so shutting off that part of my brain that just wants to go, but I love GoDaddy, let me tell you why. Listening to them and actually empathizing with them. And it's such a great thing, because what I've been able to do is I go, oh yeah, holy shit, that was a terrible experience. And I take those, and guess what I get to do? I get to take them back to GoDaddy, and we get to look at training processes, we get to look at systems, we get to look at everything.
That is the main pillar that we talk about in our book, Be Like Amazon.
Yes.
It always comes back to optimization. You're never going to get things perfect. Get it out there, find ways to keep improving it. I think we need to keep doing these things, like, whether we're together or not. I think people have got to make a habit. I think we should just invite people to have tacos on Thursdays, and we do Taco Talk Thursdays.
Let's make it a movement.
Yeah, so let's make this a movement. I'm traveling next week, but I'll be back here on Thursday. So if someone wants to meet up for tacos next Thursday, let me know. Where are you going to be next Thursday? What part of the country are you going to be
in? I've got two things coming up. So next Thursday, I'll be in Phoenix. So if you're in Arizona, let's go get tacos and film a show. The following week, I'll be in Las Vegas.
Ooh, Las Vegas.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite Vegas taco place?
No, I don't have a favorite one right now.
So we've got a challenge there for maybe my friend Pace will suggest something.
I love this. I think I'm down. I think this is it. This is the new thing.
This is a 2019 thing.
I love it.
Thank you, everybody. Have a great day.